Hi, I'm Carol Westcott from the Voice Within studio. Today we're going to be talking about registers. The area of vocal registers does cause quite a bit of controversy in the field. However, I always like to back up my concepts with science. Unfortunately, many people were brought up with the terms head voice and chest voice. First, I'm going to talk about why those terms are problematic. Those terms are problematic because at a certain point in time, it was thought that register and resonance were the same event. It was also thought that sound could resonate in parts of the body where sound cannot go. For example, no sound can go below the vocal folds. So any idea of sound resonating in the chest is false. Now, I'm not going to say we don't feel some sympathetic vibrations in certain parts of the body at certain frequency ranges. For example, if a truck drives by my house and my front window rattles, that's a sympathetic vibration. It's picking up the vibration, the sound waves, and my window vibrates at that frequency. So what ends up happening is on low pitches, you might feel a little bit of rumbling in your chest, but my sound is not there. Our only resonator is the area from our lips to our vocal folds. We'll be talking about resonance in a separate video. Even though register and resonance do influence each other, they are separate events. With register, I'd like to get all of my students on board with using scientific terminology. So we'll be talking about what's actually happening at the level of the vocal folds. Your vocal folds can vibrate with different amounts of mass, meaning if my hands are my vocal folds, if they meet at the bottom of the lip, completely close, roll to the top in that vibration, then your vocal folds are vibrating in a thick vibration. There's a lot of mass, they're completely closing, and then they're vibrating at the speed of the pitch. So we'll call that thick. Sometimes I will refer to that as heavy. Then your vocal folds can be touching with less surface area. Something like this is going to be more of a medium thickness. That would be people's mix. And then more toward the top edges, it's a thinner vibration. And then also the vocal folds at this point can also lengthen and thin. So you're dealing with these vibration patterns for male and female voices. Male voices will also have an opportunity for the vocal folds to flip up like this, and then you're in falsetto. Female voices do not have a falsetto register. So I'll be talking about thick to thin, and what we're going to be doing is an exercise to really get a sense of how this feels. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be singing the numbers 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Number 5 is going to be, this is in the middle of my voice, mid-range, and what we're doing is 5 is the loudest I can sing without pushing or pressing, and it's going to be a sense of a loud talking voice. 1 is the softest that I can sing without it getting breathy. So I'm going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Try that one more time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So 5 would be chest voice. 5 is thick. 4, a little less thick. 3, a little less. 2, thinner. 1, thin. So essentially, I went from head voice, chest voice to head voice, all in one note. You could go the other direction too. That is one of your exercises, using these numbers, and then you'll also be practicing this on a single pitch. Now, back to problems with the head voice, chest voice terminology. It implies that it's a switch that you switch on or off. You're either in head voice or you're in chest voice. But it's been determined that you're always changing register on a continuum. And so, yes, the very, very lowest pitches that we sing will operate best in a heavy register. And the very highest pitches we can sing are going to operate best in a light register, thin. And certainly, there's only so high up you can go and pitch safely at that 5. But then you start to go to a 4, a 3, and so at a certain point along the way, you really do have to go to a 2 or a 1. And then depending on what you're trying to do on your upper pitches, you can change your resonance strategies, which we will be talking about when we talk about resonance in a different video. So when you do your sirens, what's happening is if you're starting at the bottom of your pitch range, going from a thicker vibration to a thinner vibration, all in a continuum. And then your voice is changing register at optimal places along the way. And it's adjusting very gradually. That's why we do all the sliding and all the sirening, to work on optimal registration events. But then depending on what's going on with your music, you can make some choices. I can get up decently high in my range in a decently heavy register. And when I do that, it's called belting. And then I can sing fairly low in my range in a fairly light register. And then that would be soft singing, that soft volume. You might be noticing that this is also tied to volume. So if I'm singing jazz, it needs to be softer. I could be singing lower pitches in a lighter register. So again, it's great to start to get rid of the terminology head voice and chest voice. I will still talk about it a little bit in that it's still being used in the field. So I want all my students to be on board with thinking about these numbers. We're going to really start talking about, are you in your 5? Are you in your 4? We can start doing 3.5. We can do different degrees of vocal fold thickness. And we'll also, again, be talking about resonance in a separate video. But I want to get everybody on board with this terminology, knowing that if you go to a musical rehearsal or you go to the recording studio and somebody says, oh, I want you to put that in your chest voice or put that in your head voice. Well, you know what the director or the producer wants from the sound. And then you can think, oh, well then I'm just going to sing in a lighter register or a heavier register. It just helps us so much to not think it's on or off or either or, because we spend so much time singing somewhere in a 3. So, that's what this elusive mix is. And I feel like when people are singing and they're not being so they're not overthinking the register situation, they're so much better off, because then you're doing what your voice is wanting to do in that pitch range. And again, if you want to change it, you can change it. But it's so helpful to not get so bogged down in, am I in head voice? Am I in chest voice? So I hope this is helpful. We'll be adding to this discussion, but I'd like to just get everybody on board with the idea that we're going to start using numbers, and you can even write that into your music. So the beginning of my song, oh, it's a 2. And then I gotta belt this note, well, that's a 4 or 5, depending on how high it is. Thank you. Please let me know if you have any questions.